She met my gaze over the kitchen island and, with the same casual tone someone might use to comment on the weather, said, "I'm going to sleep with other men." It was the kind of statement that cleaves a life clean in two, everything that came before, and everything that would follow after. The refrigerator hummed steadily, the ice maker sputtering in protest. My wedding ring suddenly seemed heavier, as though someone had packed the band with lead. I opened my mouth to speak, but all that escaped was a shallow breath, tinged with the bitter aftertaste of old coffee. People imagine how they'll react when their world implodes, fiery shouting matches, bargaining with quick wit, maybe even words that come out sounding wise. But me. I just stood there, dish towel in hand, staring at the woman I had married as if she were a still frame of an approaching storm. Eventually, because the silence was stretching wide enough to swallow me, I asked if she was joking. She shook her head slowly, her eyes lowering to the countertop as though studying a map she'd already chosen a route for. "No," she said softly. "I'm done pretending I don't want this." We had built a life together, a home with a mortgage that tightened around us like a slow, steady chokehold. A dog that exploded into barking every time the mailman approached. A coffee machine that wheezed like it was in need of an inhaler. 7 summers ago, I first saw her at a backyard barbecue. She was the one lighting up the entire yard with her laugh. Her name is Lena. She tilts her head when she listens, just slightly, like a curious bird. That tilt was the first thing I fell for, before anything else. We fell hard and fast, rarely argued, and became the couple everyone went to for practical advice. Cheap travel hacks, budgeting tips, the best vacuum to buy. We had playlists for lazy Sunday mornings, for road trips, and for cleaning days when we danced around with the vacuum hose like idiots. It was everyday magic, the kind you only understand the value of once it starts to fade. The fading was quiet. She began setting her phone face down more often. After-work drinks ran later into the night. She brought up podcasts about couples who opened their relationships and claimed it brought them closer. She dropped these thoughts like pebbles into a pond, watching the ripples play across my face. Once she asked me, "Do you ever think monogamy is just a story we tell ourselves?" I laughed. She didn't. I changed the subject. When the break finally came, it wasn't with shouting or slammed doors. That evening, she made pasta. I grated more Parmesan than the sauce could handle. She brushed the excess away with her hand and said, "I need to tell you something. And I need you to actually listen." I thought it would be about her job, or maybe about my mother's relentless, sharp-edged texts. Instead, it was, "I'm going to see other men. I've wanted this for a long time. I'm not ignoring it anymore. I love you, and I don't want to end what we have, but I'm going to do it." Something inside me went into crisis mode. My chest became an alarm with no escape route. My own voice sounded far away when I asked, "And what happens to us?" "We stay together," she replied. "We make new rules. People do this all the time. We'll be honest. You can too." That last part didn't feel like generosity. It felt like a knife. You can be furious and still feel helpless. You can know exactly what you want and still find your backbone missing. I went upstairs. The dog followed me, nails clicking out a restless rhythm on the wooden floor. I sat on the bed, staring at the dent in the mattress where I'd been lying earlier, trying to picture loving her while knowing she'd be with other men. My thoughts kept looping like a scratched record. I remembered her voice when we exchanged vows. Steady, not from nerves, but from certainty. That belonged to the before half of my life. The after half made it clear, this wasn't a request. It was a verdict. When I came back downstairs, I asked when she had met someone. "We haven't done anything yet," she said, "but we will." I let out a laugh that didn't sound like mine. Her earlier words buzzed in my skull like a trapped fly. "What if I say no?" I asked. She looked at me the way you'd look at a child insisting bedtime should be cancelled forever. "I'm not asking for permission," she said. "This is who I am. I hope you'll stay." That night, I drove without a destination. Moving was easier than breathing. I stopped at a gas station and watched a man scratch a lottery ticket against the hood of his car. A woman in scrubs yawned as she walked inside. The world went on, oblivious to the fact that my marriage had just gone up in flames. That's the cruel part. Life doesn't pause to let you catch up. I called my brother. He cursed under his breath and told me to come over. I didn't. I wasn't ready to let the words exist outside my own head. So I went back home. Back to the hum of the fridge. Back to the woman I loved. Back to the door she had thrown wide open, one I couldn't bring myself to step through.